So the first question's an easy one. What do you do and how long have you been doing it?
I am the general sales manager at Honda World here in Louisville. I've been in the car business since 2001. I came here from Cleveland, Ohio. I have a brother-in-law up in Cleveland that had always been in the car business, and he had said, "Why don't you get in it?" And I said, "No way," because I hated car dealerships. But I figured, let's try it. And I did it. I got fortunate to be at the Honda store in 2001 of August. I sold for a little bit because I wanted nothing to do with management because I came from management and I kind of was burned out. So over about a year and a half, got the opportunity to become a manager again. I was a floor manager, then a desk manager, then a new car manager. And then the day that the governor shut the state down, I became the general sales manager. So
Oh boy.
my first chore was reduction in force. But unfortunately, in the business that I'd been in, the restaurant business, you know how to reduce your forces, unfortunately. So it was something that I was able to do. And the good thing is once everything was up and running, we retained everybody back that we wanted to bring back. This gave me the opportunity to move on from some associates that I just didn't feel was there. So my current position is general sales manager. So that's a long-winded answer to your question.
How big is your team and how is it structured?
I'm on the variable operations side. There's also fixed operations which is our service department. But the variable operations, the sales associates, obviously. We have delivery specialists. We have business development center. I have a buy center and a vehicle upgrade center. So those are all under my leadership.
So how many people is that? That's a lot of folks.
On my end of it, 50 to 60 keeps me busy.
I bet it does.
But I have leadership department heads. We don't like to use the word manager. We call them leaders, but each department has its own leader. So that keeps it easier to manage.
Right. So not everybody's reporting directly to you. There are leads in place.
That is correct.
What are some of the key issues that you're seeing with employment in your sector?
Well, I've been fortunate. We in Honda World, I have sales associates that have been there when I was there as a sales associate since 2001. I've got associates that have been with us for 13, 14, 15. I've got managers. I did a study because basically half the year, my leadership team has vacation because there's so much tenure there from that standpoint. So I'm not feeling as much of it. Would I like to hire more people? Here and there. What we are finding when we do hire, which is just amazing, is we'll have people that will call us, go through the process of the interview, go through taking the drug test, go through waiting on the background check from our company, set up a time to come in and fill out their paperwork with HR and all that stuff, and then I'll show up.
Former HR director, and yes, it's a real thing. I don't get it, but yeah.
I don't need a lot of people. I'm filling holes. I'm able to deal with opportunities as they come from the standpoint if I have to terminate someone due to performance. I don't feel that not that it would ever keep me from doing it, but I got to hold on to them because I need them. No, I'm not in that situation, and I'm very fortunate not to be in that situation.
Obviously, you've got a culture that is excellent on retention. What's different about Honda World that other people aren't doing? What makes your business that special?
The biggest thing, and I've instituted this right from the start, is work-life balance is very important. I didn't do it, and I'm divorced because of it. Part of it, I wasn't there for my children. So it's very important to me to make sure that my associates go to their children's or their grandchildren's functions, or go to their wife's or their husband's functions. Sometimes I have to catch my breath saying, it leads to a little hard times, but they're maybe a day or maybe a couple of hours. But work-life balance is extremely important at our place. They work hard, but they also need to be there for their family. Our owner was very progressive from the standpoint of from a car dealership. He saw the technology that is going into these cars. So a long time ago, we created a department called delivery specialists, whereby when a salesperson is done and they get the paperwork done and they turn it over to our business office, they then turn the client over to our delivery specialists that will go over the vehicles. So then they can move on and get another person. We've created an environment there that they can be a specialist and they can be more productive because I have other departments that are able to take up the slack. And I think just overall, I speak to them, I talk to them. For instance, if I know a birthday or I know someone's sick or I know something, I would make sure that I follow up with them. I say how is or how was to make sure that they know that I listened. And so I think caring. I've always viewed myself as a servant leader. And servant leader means I serve my associates. Now, does that mean I cow tie to them? No, not at all. Like I said, I deal with opportunities as they come, but they know I care and I listen to them. A lot of the things that go on in our business come about by the associates, because the associates are the frontline people. I couldn't tell you, I used to pride myself on product knowledge. When I was a salesperson, I used to know the managers didn't have it. And I used to say, I'm not going to be like that. Well, I'm like that. I guess I can tell you where the keys at goes into, but I don't know the technology. I don't know any of that stuff. So they're the frontline people. They're the ones working on the front lines. So we listen to them. I listen to them. And we institute a lot of, during the pandemic, our owner agreed to put the shovel in the dirt for a $6.5 million expansion to our service department and our showroom and all that stuff. So not only were we shut down, we had just started on this expansion where it could have easily stopped, but he's a very forward-thinking owner. We're very blessed to have him. So when we had to get the showroom redone, we moved into a smaller area. So I have this huge showroom moving into a smaller area, and we were there for about 6 months. Our associates came up with ideas on how to make this functionable, and we went with them. Sandy, I kid you not, for 6 months. I mean, I envisioned this being a nightmare. For 6 months, it ran as smooth as silk. We never had hiccups. And you take all these people and put them in one small confined area, you think you're going to have problems, but they came up with a lot of the things that we instituted in this, and it was fantastic. So I think the biggest thing is they have a say. They have a say so. Our CSI, which is our customer service index, is never higher. And you would think with the COVID and also with the supply chain where people are waiting 3, 4, 5, 6 months for the cars, people would be upset. We're in the 98th percentile out of 100. So my thoughts, as well as the owner's thoughts, is good CSI is good ASI. ASI being Associate Satisfaction Index. Because if you take care of your associates, they're going to take care of your clients. It's a long-winded answer.
No, it's a great one. I appreciate it. And obviously you can see from my logo that I do a webinar on compassionate leadership. So I may have you as a guest speaker one of these times and share some of your experiences. As you've grown, I'm sure there have been a few challenges. Is there anything that you can share about a challenge and what you learned from it?
Well, there's always challenges. I mean, when you're working with the public, during COVID and during the supply chain problem, we've grown our market share, which you wouldn't think that should be, but we've grown our market share. And the way I've always looked at it, from the day that the state was shut down and our service department was open, but our showroom was shut down, our associates, our leaders, we called it adapt and overcome. We were constantly adapting and overcome. Then when COVID was over and we had the supply chain problem, they adapted and overcome that. And now it's not there yet. And I don't think it ever will get back to the way it was prior to COVID, prior to the supply chain issues, because they're still out there. They're having to adapt once again, because there is some inventory that's getting on the lots and they're having to adapt. So I think the biggest thing is that I have a team that has shown that they can adapt. They see, I guess the word people use is pivot. I don't know. I don't use that, but I guess that's what they use. They pivot to make it fit. But you're always facing opportunities. Associates have problems. You listen to them. You try and assist them as best they can, both personally and professionally. My door is always open to any associate that has opportunities, and we have some. I'm always there. I always talk to them. I always ask them, trying to keep their head in the right direction from that standpoint. So I don't know if that was the answer to your question, but that really is.
I love that you use the term opportunities.
We don't use problems. There's no such thing as problems, it's opportunities. And then my associates laugh. That's from the owner. The owner taught me that. Problem is a negative. We don't use the word try in our dealership. It's called attempt, because if you try, there's a chance you're going to fail. So he's taught all this stuff. It may seem corny. They make fun of me about opportunities because they know what opportunities mean. They chuck it's problems. No, it's opportunities because it gives us a chance to make a success out of it. So it's just something we do.
All part of the culture. That's great. What advice would you give someone who's trying to grow their team into a group of folks that are going to stay around for 10 plus years?
Serve and listen. Very simply. Listen to your people. Listen not to respond, but listen to listen. Remember what they said to you to follow up, because then it shows them that you were listening and it wasn't just a distraction. And then serve. My job is to serve my leaders and serve my associates as best I can. I've instituted, our HR gives us a birthday and a anniversary list for every month. I do a handwritten card to everyone. I've been doing this for 2 years. Handwritten card. Some people thank me, some people don't. I'm not looking for that. But I think the acknowledgement, people don't say anything, but they like it. So you've got to serve your associates. You know, sometimes when people get into management positions or leadership positions, they think they're the king.
Right. They're above everyone.
Right. You know, and here's the thing that was really interesting. One of my main guys, he's my desk manager, and it was probably less than a year into my present position. He came to me and he says, Chuck, you don't know the effect you have on people and what you say and how it affects them. Because here's the thing, Sandy, I don't view myself as anything big. But he made me realize, Chuck, if you're in a bad mood, that goes over onto that person or that team.
Right.
So you got to watch that. So ever since that, which I appreciate, and I like the fact that he was able to, because trust me, my guys and gals are not afraid to tell me when I'm screwing up. So they actually get a kick out of it. They love it, but which is fine. But I had to watch what I say and how I interact with my associates in my body language. That's a big thing. My body language when somebody comes and wants to ask me a question. And I have to make myself understand and realize, because I do serve them, is that question, though trivial to me, is important to them. I work on that daily. I am nowhere close to where I need to be, but I work on that daily.
Our Engage and Grow program, one of the big components is rewards and recognition. And the people who are going through the program have to recognize another participant for something they did during the week. And at first I get this is silly. What are you looking for? And by the end of the program, it becomes their favorite part. And I get a lot of pushback from people saying, well, I can't afford to give out gift cards all the time. And my response is always, what about a thank you note? A handwritten thank you note has such a big impact. So I am absolutely delighted to hear that you do that and that you're aware that, yeah, this is a big deal to somebody.
Absolutely.
A small effort with a huge reward.
And I'd love to say these were my ideas. I listen to leadership podcasts all the time. One of my big ones is Jesse Cole of the Savannah Bananas. He's kind of a different type of baseball team, but it's how he interacts with his clients. He calls them fans, but also he interacts with his associates. And I learn a lot from that. I've learned a lot from David Novak's leadership podcast. In fact, people make fun of me because my name tag says in training and my name. And the reason I do that is Dan and Kathy, whose dad founded Chick-fil-A and he's now running it, put it on his because he's always learning. And I'm always learning. I listen to podcasts, both leadership and spiritual, every day. Very rarely ever watch TV unless it's sports, but I'm always learning. And I always tell people when they ask me about it, if I screw up, hey, I'm in training, so I can cut me a break. But some people have said, hey, I know you've been here since 2001. What do you got that in training for? But the interesting thing about it is the unintended consequence on this, and I tell my associates this, is that up until this point, you never knew how many people look at your name tag. But since I put this on, and how many people have said, hey, why are you in training? Or why should I be talking to you? Because you're a trainee. People look at your name tag. So it's amazing. And so obviously I use that now, people look at your name tag. I didn't think they did, but they do.
Yeah, very much so.
But yeah, a lot of the things that I do are based on podcasts. But yeah, the handwritten note was, plus I remember my mom used to make us write birthday cards, handwritten notes way back when. That's real quick.
Tell me where Honda World's going in the future. What's in the cards?
It's where the market's taken us, down the road. I think, electric vehicles, I don't know. Who knows if that's going to be the case. Right now, we're attempting to get out of this supply chain problem. We're getting some inventory on the lot. The client experience is very important to us for repeat and referral business. That's how we grow our market share. But also, like I said, associate experience has to be there too, because if my associates are not happy, that's going to go over to the clients. So to be specifics on that, I don't know this, specifics. We're going to grow our business through taking care of our associates and to take care of our clients.
That's the perfect cycle of business. Take care of the associates take care of the customers take care of the business. It's a great model. Is there anything else you want to share with our audience?
Just the biggest thing, like I said, is listen, don't listen to respond. And it's hard. It's difficult. But work-life balance, people want that work-life balance. The people, old timers like myself, COVID taught them that you don't have to work crazy anymore. And
right.
You've got to be there for your associates. It's so important. Sure, money is good. Money is very important, obviously, to earn a living. But people want to be there for their children's plays or their anniversaries or their birthdays. No words of wisdom other than just being a servant to your associates.
That's a great thing to end on. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to meet you and talk to you.
My pleasure as well.